Hello, how's everybody doing today? Can you hear me fine? I hope so.
Can hear you.
All right. So we got Brovia with us today. This should be exciting.
Hello,
So,
everybody.
just in case anybody doesn't know who Brovia is, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a quick introduction?
Name's Brovia. Been bouncing around to all you guys in your streams recently. Many thanks for that. Let me get my voice out there and my opinions, be it good or bad. I've been in DFK roughly the same time as you, I think, Zan. We were chatting about that, which is just the pre-hack, which is, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago now-ish. And yeah, just like everybody else, grinding it out, getting the Gen Zeros, buying Jewel, logging in Discord too much, bitching, that kind of stuff. We're currently on my patio with a beer, and that's why the camera's on a different angle, trying something different.
Awesome. Yeah, so a little later this week than usual. Hopefully some people can still get in here. Looks like we got Chozo in here. Blako the Fako, Skiller, J-Dubs. Hey, how you guys doing? So we got Brovia on here, so there's one topic we have to talk about. I know he's probably tired of talking about it. Everybody might be tired of hearing about it. But let's talk about those perilous journey heroes. So I don't want to go too much on this, but I will share with you my opinion. Feel free to laugh, whatever. But when it comes to
this
the
is
land
good because there's so much talk about it. It's great.
Yeah. When it comes to land tournaments, I have one opinion only. If it is going to be a perilous journey tournament, they need to straight up just be perilous journey heroes. I would not bring a horse to a water polo match, and I would not wear a Speedo to a polo match.
I love that.
Get where the complication is. So
I love it, Dan. That's perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to dwell too much on it, but I mean, where people are giving you feedback on this and saying all this stuff, if you don't have a perilous journey hero, tough shit. You don't get to play. We're a long ways out from it happening. You have time to get them. So, like I said, I don't want to beat the horse too much on it, but share your thoughts a little bit if you want.
Well, and there's two less in the ecosystem as of yesterday since Dags decided to be crazy and throw a couple in the pit, and he got rugged. So, yeah. Buy them now because there are not going to be many left after Dags is done with them.
How long do you think he's been waiting to do that with you?
He told me something was going to go on and to not watch a couple streams and stuff. And I got busy at work. I didn't watch the stream, so I didn't actually know what he was going to do. And so my reaction was genuine. I was like, oh, for Christ's sakes, that's seriously what you're going to do? And yeah, it was good. I mean, it was funny. They're common heroes, which is, but it's still a PJ hero. So it's just people value everything differently in the game, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I don't own any, so I'll be out of those land tournaments, but that's all right. That's my choice.
There's definitely some nice ones in the tavern. Even at these prices, they're steal, but you got to have conviction in the game. And I mean, most of us do, but most of us, I'm guessing, are buying Jewel and holding it, So,
just a quick topic on that before we get into what we're actually here today for. And this is where I really want your input. But for right now, how many people do you think are actually investing to invest in DeFi Kingdoms?
Like right straight up investors and not gamers? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because I stopped playing it as an investor a long time ago.
I agree. I did too. I mean, when we were all investors, we all bought bags of Jewel, right? Which most of us still have bags of Jewel, but we're off of hopium here. All the people that are left are gamers that happen to be in crypto, right? That's what it is. And anybody in crypto, they want to see that return on investment. So right now there isn't really that in the game. There will be in the future if they do these crazy, giveaways for PvP and stuff, but might be insane, right? So someone would buy a couple heroes and chance to win a $10,000 pot or whatever, right? Totally different, circumstance. But
Yeah, no, I
investors,
totally agree.
there's many.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, and don't hate me too much, guys. Don't be throwing shit at the screen. But if I had money to invest right now in Web3 and you told me I had to invest it in Web3, so many projects out there right now are taking off. And if I wanted a quick return, DFK would not be my choice. I would pick one of these other games.
Ooh, what?
So
Well, can I flip that on you?
go ahead.
If you had to put the money in DFK, what would you put it in?
That brings us right into what we're going to talk about today.
Hot damn!
I would still 100% put it all into heroes. None of the tokens.
I like the way you're thinking.
Because I think long term, the heroes are going to be the gameplay. But I think we're going to be burning half the ones that we invest in just to keep up with the meta. But I think heroes are the long term gameplay.
So are you like? I know you got your questing army. You're doing DFK Helper and stuff. Are you big into the dark summoning heroes too? Like, do you have a good like army of crazy killer like dark summoning heroes too?
I'm starting to build some, but I'm not into the. I hate the pit. I can't stand it.
Did we
For
just
me,
become best friends?
for me to take $1 bill and cut it in half, that hurts. You know, I
Yeah.
don't take $2, glue them together. That hurts. But it is our only option to keep up with the meta. All the heroes that I built right now are built for questing. Well, now I need to get into combat. Well, fuck. Ain't none of them going to work for combat.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck. I'm having to burn them. My 6,000 heroes over the years will probably end up becoming 3,000 heroes. But I got a different gameplay strategy that I'm going for. So that brings me to I want to talk today about the game loop. So when you think game loop, what do you think when I mention game loop? What are you thinking?
Well, like the cyclical. Here, I'll give you an example. Like you pull your garden rewards out, and you use those garden rewards to buy the mats, to hatch the pet, to then like you have a reason to keep the money within the ecosystem, not to pull it out and turn it to USD and go and buy shit coins.
Yeah.
Is that what am I close to what you're thinking?
It's one of the loops, but that's not really the loop that I was referring to. I was talking about you go from the mats to the potions to the weapons, sell those back off, get the heroes to where the total ecosystem of the game actually has a loop to it to where you're not pulling money out because you're having to reinvest to continue to play.
Yeah, like right now, if you were questing, most of those mats that you'd want to use in the game, you can't. You're selling them for gas right now, right? Is that what you mean? So
Yeah,
you'd rather use those materials for in-game economy transactions or whatever. Like you said, you make potions, you sell the potions, you use the potions. Like you can't
yeah,
do that.
yeah. Just go one more step and get further away from actually making money to just,
Oh, because we're there already.
yeah. so I, so I want to start off with it just as like, we'll use my wallet as an example. So I have 6,000 heroes. I do about anywhere from 4 to 6 hunts a day. So how many potions am I using? Not that many compared to how many mats I'm farming every day with those 6,000 heroes. So
Yeah,
do
it's a
you
drop in a
think,
bucket.
yeah, do you think in general that's the norm across the board? Do you think people are able to farm more mats than they're able to use in the hunts that we have going right now?
100% correct. 100%
So,
correct.
so right now that part of the game loop's broken because no matter what we do, we're going to continue to farm more mats than we can use. So that value of those mats are going to continue to just go down further and further and further.
I think I know where you're leading me into, and keep going. This is good.
So what do you do with those heroes now, since as all you're doing is just paying for gas to farm mats that you don't need, carry no value? Do you just stop farming with them? If you stop farming with them, what does that do to the value?
I can tell you, I stopped questing like completely because it's pointless, right? Yeah. I guess the benefit is you're helping the jewel burn, but like it's not helping you directly in any way.
Nor the game.
Nor the game, yeah. So like, okay, I'm assuming this is where you're going with this. Are you going to the summoning cooldown where there's going to be less heroes made, which means there's going to be less mats minted, which could potentially make the mats rise in value because there's not such a huge demand on them? Is that where you're heading with this, or am I speculating wrong?
You're not off target, but you're on the outer circle and not the bullseye.
All right. So, at least I'm in the realm.
You're in the realm. So I have a choice, and this is what really has got this in my head lately. I want to level my heroes, so I'm still questing my heroes. But what am I going to do with these heroes once they get up there? Let's just assume I spend $1 million on Moshka runes, and I get all 6,000 up to level 20. Well, now what am I going to do with them? I have no use for them. They have no value because who else needs them? Because they already have too many heroes. So the hero inflation thing is definitely solid, and I agree with there is a problem. But does there have to be a problem? Mass adoption. Everybody keeps talking mass adoption.
Yeah.
Okay, we're a long ways from mass adoption. I'm sorry, guys. You think what you want. We're a long ways away from mass adoption. Do I think the summoning cooldown is the answer? I think that's a Band-Aid for the overall problem. I don't think that'll actually fix it. It's a temporary fix. Because I will still have my 6,000 heroes, and I'll still only be able to do so many hunts.
But that could be, pretend that more people join the game. Then there's a reason that, you got in early, you got those heroes, right? So we need the players. We need the new blood coming in here and getting injected into the economy.
Yeah.
So how many people do you actually think are playing right now? How many active members in the community there are? And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but like active players in the community.
Oh, you want my really rough guesstimate? I don't really track any of that, but
I don't either. We're probably around the 1,000 mark. We're not on a stream.
Yeah. I think we might be at the 1,000 daily active user mark.
I think you might be even a little high, to be honest with you. And I mean,
I'm trying to be bullish here.
No, you should be bullish. Here's the best part of it all. There's a good chunk of players that don't even go into Discord chat anymore because it's like the same 60 guys in there that are just ripping on each other. So there's definitely players that are not active in Discord, playing DFK, having a good time.
All right. So let's assume we get 100,000 players, right?
Holy, yep.
And all of a sudden, all these heroes are out there hammering out these hunts, our 2 hunts that we have. And we're playing PvP and all that stuff. And they need all those potions. Do you think that itself is going to cause the item value to go up?
Wouldn't it have to naturally? Because if they're not going to quest heroes, then the mats are not going to be produced as much because they're just in there to play boars and chickens, right?
Yeah.
So they're then using the in-game economy by having to inject money, buy the mats that you're making and farming and selling off, or the mana potions, the health potions, which gives you that sync that we're all desperately wanting to see.
Correct. So let's face it, I don't think we're anywhere near that anyways.
No.
Let's bring another option in here. And you guys kind of talked about it a little bit on the Jewelers Guild stream last night. What if we started a scholarship program? And
I do a
I'm
happy
very
dance.
familiar with this. I've done a lot of this in the past. That's what my whole other guild was about, was scholarships. I have a way to do it, and I'm getting ready to start it up. I'm probably going to team up with the Jewelers Guild to do it. We're talking about it and all that stuff, but we have a bunch of stuff to work out. So I start up this scholarship program. I get John, Jim, and Harry to do 100, 200 hunts a day and pay them out. All right. And scholarship is different than the champion program. The champion program are people that want to play the game, so you give them some heroes. Scholarship is you are basically hiring someone to farm shit all day long for you. Kind of like a bot for the game.
A human bot.
A human bot.
Yeah.
So now a lot of my heroes are not farming mats. They're now farming equipment. Okay, so after all those heroes get equipped, what's that going to do to the equipment price?
You mean like all heroes in the game have enough equipment? Or
yeah,
like, is that
once all the heroes get the equipment?
Well, okay. Can I throw my opinion on that whole equipment situation currently with where we're at with the current people in the game?
That'd be a good start.
Okay, so like we got in between. I'm just gonna go low and then into your 500 to 1,000 players, let's say, and let's say every one of those guys has 25 good heroes. With how many armor drops, sword drops, bow drops that are happening with the mass farming of chickens and boar hunts, eventually the small community we have, the small strong community we have, I got to maintain a bullish sentiment here. They won't need any of those pieces of equipment anymore. So equipment prices will drop. They have to drop because at some point you're not going to need them, and so that's another reason why they need to incentivize this whole durability thing, and you have to repair your shit.
Yeah.
So otherwise, if you wait 6 months, everybody's going to have every single piece of equipment they need, and then they're just going to sell it off, and it'll go down into oblivion.
So there was a comment in here. I don't know who mentioned it, but they were talking about the we'll never have enough equipment type stuff. And see, one thing you got to think about in the scholarship program is people in a scholarship program, they don't keep nothing. They sell everything. So they won't, if they can still win the matches, they won't be equipping this stuff. They'll be selling it all.
They'll be dumping it, and you'll get a portion of whatever they found with your heroes, kind of thing, right?
Correct. And also, someone mentioned the whole wallet situation and all that. So my scholarship program will not be trustless at all. It'll be 100% trust based. So these are all people that I've known and dealt with in the past quite a bit. So I will lose some, I will gain some. It's just part of the game. But my thoughts and my concern is I've seen so many of these projects out there with the scholarship programs crash because of this whole dump everything as they earn it sentiment.
How do you stop it then?
Well, I think DFK is working on a great program for that, the whole durability thing. But
now, I agree with the durability. I think it's a fantastic idea that they're going to come with. But like, can you imagine buying a piece of armor and a sword, and you go into a battle and that thing gets just crippled, and you're like, well, crap, that cost me like $100 for that equipment. you, and the rewards were, 5 Moxtra runes. Like, well, crap, that really wasn't worth it to just destroy my armor.
Yeah.
Like, so that's another thing they're going to have to like work on. Like, how do you make sure it incentivizes people to want to go into battle with that armor?
Yeah. Skiller here brings up a good point, and this is something I keep going back and forth on. There are more heroes being summoned every day than equipment being found. And I wonder how far off that would be if, and here's what concerns me. If I do this scholarship program and other people hear about this scholarship program and a lot of other people do it, because I know quite a few people that would jump on it if it's profitable. And these would be big whales coming in, bringing on a lot of scholars. So
Yep.
that's going to be that many people playing these 2 hunts. At that point, are we going to be summoning quick enough to keep up with that equipment? I would say if you're willing to equip those heroes, it would be a decent balance. But my experience is these scholars, they don't keep shit. They dump everything. And I tried every day to get them to reinvest in the game to where they're not playing my assets and playing their own assets. It's just not in their nature. So what's your thoughts? Do you think if mass adoption for a scholarship program takes place, if the equipment would keep up or crash? And I know I'm throwing you on the spot here. I'm going to give you no time to think about that.
Sorry, my internet was crapping out again. I've been having real issues these last couple of days. So you were spotting in and out. I wasn't zoning out and thinking. I was catching parts and pieces of your comments.
Not a problem. Blako the Faco brings up something here. No, I was just asking if you think if we get mass adoption on it, if that was going to make a difference on flooding the market with the equipment.
Well,
what's your thoughts on flooding the market?
It'll help with hero inflation if everybody needs the level 10s, because it'll buy up the market in the tavern for that. But at the same time, the equipment drops are going to skyrocket with the number of players that are playing it. So then that material cost will fall to the ground, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be an equilibrium to make it work, and we're not game designers.
Yeah. So, Blako the Faco, I agree with you, the level 10s, but we got scrub hunts coming. And if that plays out the way I think it's going to play out, all these scholars that I would have would be more into the scrub hunts than they would be into the profession mining. I think we're losing Brovia. But that also, I want to mention that because with these scrub hunts, with scholars, that now brings that many more heroes off of the profession quest and doing scrub hunts instead of profession quest. So I think that'll help balance the items in the game, but it's going to bring the equipment value down. So you back, Brovia? I think he's still fighting with it. All right, you get it, Brovia?
You're going to have to give me a couple minutes. I'm going to have to go and hardwire this connection because the Wi-Fi is just kicking my ass right now.
That's cool. Go ahead and take your time. I'll talk with chat. They seem to be firing things out.
Yeah, just give me just 1 minute and I'll relocate here.
Sounds good. So, all right. So go look at how much Loot Trader has. It isn't very much and has way too high a volume player. I'm not going to disagree, but if you look at a lot of that stuff, the value and this is just my opinion, the value seems to be going not down quick, but I don't think the costs are quite there. I personally think a lot of this equipment should have a higher value to it than it does. So Blake Fago, hopefully scrub fights will help with Matt's use case. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of hoping when the scrub fights come out, that's going to really help with getting people off of doing the profession quest and start to bring those mats up. But I'm still stuck with the part where I got 6,000 heroes. I'm not going to be able to do scrub hunts with 6,000 heroes. That's just not going to happen. So what am I going to do with the rest of those heroes? They're going to keep farming mats. So I'm still out of equilibrium there. So Jeremy, 2 hunts a day per team is hard to mine. So I'm assuming you're meaning like mass mine them. You're right, but if I get one, let's just go with one scholar, I could give him 100 teams, and he could mine that 100 teams through those 2 hunts. That's 200 battles a day. Now, I don't know if that's possible. I'd have to test it and ramp that up as we go. But, as far as all that goes, there's so many heroes out there, and there are a lot of heroes that are 10 and above now. So that would work. I'm still buying equipment, and I have 35 teams. Quick question, Jeremy. With the 35 teams, can you play all 35 of those teams every day? I don't know what your schedule's like or none of that. I'm just curious on what it takes to do those 35 teams a day. So Blako LeFaco, wait for expeditions and plunk them in there. Well, yeah, I agree. Expeditions, that'll reduce our gas cost, but that's not going to reduce how many items are being farmed every day. My whole thing is there's too many items being farmed that the value of them is just going to go to zero. And if the value of those go to zero, all those heroes that I can't do hunts with, the value of them are going to go to zero because there's no use for them. Hey, King showed up. Hopefully DFK makes a system for scholarships. That would be the best if DFK had an in-game feature, which I'm sure they're not working on it anymore, but they did have a champion program that they were working on, and that was kind of cool. No. Okay. The priest builds are too slow. Hey, we got Brovia back.
Hardwired connection and inside.
So, Jeremy, it looks like you said you can do 60 hunts a day. Damn. So let me ask you a question, Jeremy. So you're doing 60 hunts a day. With that 60 hunts a day, are you enjoying doing that 60 hunts a day? Or are you just doing it trying to make profit or trying to build up? What's the reasoning in your mind behind doing 60 hunts a day? So what's your thoughts on that, Brovia? 60 hunts a day. Would you want to do 60 hunts a day for pleasure, or would that have to be solely for making money?
He's got to be doing it for the clay airdrops that are going to end soon. So once those end, I would not think there'd be a reason to do it.
Yeah, well,
like how many hours? How many hours a day is that? Like straight up.
Jeremy, how many hours a day does it take you to get that 60 hunts a day in? And I'm not trying to say anything negative here. If you're enjoying doing 60 hunts a day, go at it. Do your 60 hunts a day. Don't burn yourself out, though, because I want you to continue to have fun here. But if you are enjoying doing that, then go for it.
I'm with you. I do 5 or 6 maybe, and I'm done.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. So he says that takes 9 hours to do that 60 hunts a day. So you sit there and do 60 hunts a day for 9 hours. Wow.
No way.
More power to you. Wow. I there's no way I can do that.
I'm in shock, honestly. That's more than a full-time job.
Skiller says he does 40-ish. Wow, Skiller. Jeremy. Hats off to you. There's no way I could do that.
That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? If they're getting those drops and they're selling them right away, they're probably making okay money.
Yeah, I definitely think farming for equipment's profitable, and that's why I want to do the scholarships. Is I want to be able to farm for that equipment, because right now that's the only way I see in this game to be profitable is those equipment drops. But my concern, and I'm not no economic major or none of that stuff. I just think at some point that's gonna pivot to where that equipment is no longer profitable unless we get that durability in there. I mean, Brovia, how long do you see equipment being profitable for if nothing else changes in the game?
Oh man, it's the hot thing right now. It's gonna shift. It has shifted every time, right? Like yeah. I'm actually interested to see when the Clay airdrops end in a day or two, I believe. I feel like people are going to start going back to summoning in the portal more because, you know, you can flip heroes pretty easy. You don't have to do that 9 hours a day to make money.
Right? No, Helper does that for me.
Well, exactly.
But yeah, my fear without that durability, the loop is closed. We're not going to be able to sustain.
What's your opinion on the amulets with the durability? Like, would you go in the tavern right now or the equipment tavern and just pick yourself up a Scally's Eye for 1,000 USD, knowing full well that you bring that to battle and you know your durability is going to drop down, and then you literally turn $1,000 into dust?
Hell no. I would not.
That's a big one, right? So the equipment prices and stuff like that, they can't ever like skyrocket because nobody's going to want to use them.
Yeah, how do I word this? As far as like the amulets, like you're talking about, that's a tough one because if I spent $1,000 on it, I would only bring that into a $10,000 tournament. I wouldn't use it for anything else.
Exactly. But, so it's like almost priceless at that point, right?
Yeah. And am I getting the value out of it now if I can only use it 2-3 times a year?
Probably not.
I would just say that's just tournaments I don't go in.
Yeah, you'd have to be like the top echelon of players that like need that to like get their game to that extreme top level. That could be the make or break of, you know, a big kiddie pool of a win in PvP or duels or whatever, right?
Yeah. And I just have a hard time. Boy, I think this time frame is a lot better. I'm getting a lot of hits, but I don't have the usual guys in here. I got J-Dubs in here. He's in here every week.
I think Skiller's in here just to give me shit. That's my 2 cents. I'm waiting for the comments in chat. He's getting me all jittery.
Yeah. But so now I know this is probably the first time you're hearing about me doing the scholarship program. Yeah. Overall, with what the information I've given you, do you think now? I'm not talking about just me doing it. Let's just say there is a bigger adoption for it. Do you think that's going to overall hurt the economy or help the economy?
Oh, dear. It's like a double-edged sword. It'll be beneficial because you're... Oh, dear. It's a double-edged sword, right? You're going to get a bunch of people, like we said, playing boars on our behalf with our heroes, which in turn is going to make the make those pieces of equipment less valuable, but at the same time, you're getting more people interacting on the chain, which you're invested in C Joule and S Joule. Passively, we're going to make more money too. So, like, it, one of the other
They'll be
streamers
doing
said this
that instead
before.
of doing mats.
Sorry.
The heroes will be switched from collecting mats to collecting equipment.
Exactly.
Can't
And
leave that part out there.
one thing everybody just brushes over is the level of the heroes. It takes a long bloody time. If you go buy yourself a level 1 in the tavern and you want to play boars, like, we'll see in a year and a half if you want to do it naturally. Like, or you're gonna stamp pot the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine. He didn't have Helper or any type of bot, and he bought a bunch of stamp pots, and he like legit was sitting on his couch and like stam quest, and like he did that up to level, I think, 12 or something. Like,
Yeah.
his phone was on fire because he was just on there doing it on his phone for like hours on end. Like, can you imagine people doing that?
I did 2 heroes from level 1 to level 20 in DFK Helper with stam pots.
That's totally
It
like
took
different. Like,
2 weeks.
That's ass. That.
It still took 2 weeks to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so even with stam pots, it's not like, in a lot of these other games that we play outside of DFK, in the Web 2 world.
Yep.
You could one day get to end game. There's no way to do that in DFK right now.
Do you think in the expeditions they'd give you an option for like stam questing hero that like it would just put it in a contract? Do you think they'd do that?
I don't know. I've heard rumblings about it, and I don't know if I heard that from the team or if I heard that from the community. I don't think they should do it. I don't think that should be an option.
Well, if you have the stamp pots in your possession, like at that point they know you're going to use them. That's just an evil, like, Dr. Evil. We're gonna make this guy sit on the couch and just click this button forever. Like, I don't know. Is that crazy?
For me, and this is the way I would play expeditions. The heroes that I would send on expeditions are going to be those absolute garbage heroes that I really just don't give a shit about.
Yeah, you just want.
I'm not going to send anything on those that are actually going to be something I would do something with. So to stamp on them, I don't see what the point would be.
Like, on the topic of expeditions, right? Like, would it piss you off if, sure, it's got a C Joule allocation, totally fine, whatever, half a Joule a hero, whatever it is, but they still maintain the gas value of like what they should take to collect the heroes? Would that tick you off a little bit, right? Like, you got them in there for a week and you go to collect it and it's going to cost you like, I don't know, 10 Joule to collect all your mats. At that point, you're just selling them again anyway. It's pointless.
Yeah, that would piss me off. It pisses me off just to have to stake Joule to be able to do expeditions.
Yep.
So that's just my opinion. But I'm big time against staking anything.
But that whole staking mechanism could have saved the whole game, right? When we all like put our money in there and like, stabilize the economy, and then Joule itself and the value of it. We made a bottom.
Yeah, I agree they needed to do it, and I have nothing against it as far as all that goes. It just pisses me off when I have to lock up my shit.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, so on that scholarship thing, some people are saying good, some people are saying not good.
It's like, again, like you and I, like you say, you're on the road a lot, you don't have the time to do it. If you've accumulated those assets, you got those assets, they're not being utilized, and they're like top tier heroes in the game, why shouldn't they be used? Why shouldn't they be allowed to be put in someone's wallet and fight against Beeves, Mythic, this or that, right? Like, it's a shame that you bought this hero, want to use it, you don't have the time.
Yeah, I like what Beeves saying here. PvE should be the primary way you level up your dope heroes. Well, I don't have too many dope heroes, but I agree with you. And that's when these scrub hunts come out. And that's why I'm looking at the scholarship program now, because I want to get it all in set and in place by time the scrub hunts come out. Because now instead of level 1 through 10 sending them all off to profession quests, I can now send them to scrub hunts to level up.
So your scholarship program though, right? You said you're going to use specific guys that you trust because there's no smart contract, or at least we assume there not to be one, right? Let me tell you a real quick story about how you trust someone in crypto. Okay, our good old buddy Bolon Soron, he had a Gen Zero. He quote unquote permanent loaned it to a guild owner. This guy has since left Discord. Primetime Guild, which rebranded to Path to Gaia, and Primetime, he bailed one day. I don't know, he just said to hell with it. And all of a sudden, that Gen Zero that was Bolon's, that was in his wallet, in Primetime's wallet, was listed on the tavern. And I think it was Born to Die from DFK Quester. He bought it, and it was like, oh shit, right? Bolon didn't know this happened, and the guy quit the Discord, all Discords. Hilariously enough, you look in like hero summons and equipment sales, Primetime's still playing, but he is not in Discord at all. And yeah, he ran away with whatever it was at the time, $2,000 worth of a Gen Zero that wasn't his. So like, it should be a smart contract if your Mythic Dread is getting lent out to play in a PvP, PvE. Like, holy crap, man, I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, and none of the heroes I would give would be that valuable, but I'm a very trusting individual.
Have you been burned yet? Like, I haven't been burned either. I'm like you. Like, I give people the benefit of the doubt. We're gonna do an OTC trade. I'll send it first, right? Yeah. But there are a lot of people out there that just don't give a shit. Most of our communities are like really good, but I'm saying some new guy comes in, right? He's flashing his money. He wants to play. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've been burnt a little bit, but nothing really that bad. But I'd say that's the 1% person, not the rule. And there was a time with Zan's Meta Army, I was up to 600 scholars.
Wow.
And I've basically had no issues with it. Let's look back. I mean, you can look back at Axie Infinity. Some of those Axies were $1,000 each. You could loan those out to people. Now, granted, you weren't actually giving them any access to take the heroes or anything like that. But if you gave it to the wrong person, that Axie could have got banned. And once an Axie gets banned, it's no longer useful.
Oh, it just goes dead? Like, it has no use case at all?
Yeah, it can't be played within the game.
Ah.
So that's how I got a couple heroes banned, or a couple Axies banned. That's how I got screwed. I can't remember. I think it was multi-walled or something like that. So even with it through a smart contract, there is things that can happen where you still get screwed. So again, the way I'm going to do it's fully trust-based. Me and the player will have access. Before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a relationship already with these people that would play your heroes.
Yeah, and they'll get fully doxxed and all that. So, I mean, it's yes, they could screw me, but whatever. How do you word that?
I know where you live. I'll make a trip.
Yeah. And honestly, King, I don't know if you see him in the chat, but King with CMA on here.
Yeah.
He's been my manager since day one. He knows a lot of these people, and a lot of it is what you find. And these are all the people I deal with are mainly in the Philippines. And you get one person in, he's going to pull all of his friends in. None of them are going to do anything negative to hurt their own image. In the Philippines, they have a big save face mentality. They'll do anything to keep from being embarrassed. So it's
right. Even on
for everyone.
even on the jeweler stream, I think it was Dags was mentioning that like we aren't in the United States, Canada, like we can't just like hire people to
Yeah, no,
you know. So there's got to be some sort of way. Like how did it actually pay out rewards and all that? I was never a player in Axie. Like how did that whole system work?
So the game itself, like if I'd give them 3 Axies, but I wouldn't give them the Axies. I had the wallet. I would just give them the login information, and they would go onto the website and play the game through the login information. So they couldn't make any transactions. They could just play the game. And that's the way most of them worked, but you can't do that in DeFi Kingdoms. So.
Time is the real cost. Yeah, Chozo's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's more the time, Chozo. Like it's you know, not many of us have 9 hours a day to dedicate to this. So
yeah. There's no way. And honestly, for me, and I'm assuming a lot of people in here, that just wouldn't cover my bills even. So to spend 9 hours absolutely. A day doing that.
You can get a part-time job and, you know, make enough money to just buy the equipment. And no offense to like equipment costs, but it's just like, holy hell, man, your time is worth something. Calculate your time into what you're doing.
Yeah. That's what you have to have fun to do. If you're doing it for 8-9 hours a day, you have to have fun doing it. So
Skiller's telling me I gotta make time.
You need to make time.
I probably over this weekend could have done more boar hunts, but I enjoy chatting with everybody on YouTube that's inviting me on their streams. It's a blast. So
exactly, this is more fun than doing boar hunts, in my opinion. I don't get it, and tell me I'm wrong. Okay,
You're beat wrong.
The boars. I beat the boars 100 times now. There's nothing new to it, so I just can't see farming it.
It's that like, okay, it's like when you were doing the summoning in the summoning portal, right? That little hit of like adrenaline you get when you're like, oh, the crystal's cracking, and now these guys are getting that new hit when they go to claim rewards. Ooh, what could it be? Ooh, I'm so excited, right? So that's their new hit. And the value of the equipment currently is worth more than, like, holy hell, you get like a legendary floor hero for like 140 crystal. Like, it's just so sad, right? You find a wand or whatever you call it, staff, and it's like almost 1,000 crystal. So like they're going after the stuff that's making more money, obviously.
Yeah, I just wonder, without durability coming, I just don't think that's going to be sustainable.
Like, hey, there you go, J-Dub. He's in there. He's got the Excalibur, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, you're swinging away with Excalibur doing your chicken hunts, and all of a sudden the durability's down to 1 of 5. What are you going to do with that, J-Dub? You know, you can't repair it anymore. You've done it enough. I would be pissed straight off because it's a whatever 0.001% drop rate on that Excalibur. You're gonna have to hook it on the wall and, you know, put it in your closet. It's no use anymore.
And I'm all for the durability thing, but let me run this by you. So let's say you end up getting that one broken piece of equipment. And I don't mean broken as in durability broken, but it's so overpowered that's what you bring into PvP because you're just going to dominate. So do you think we're going to come across stuff like that?
Okay, so Hubert mentioned that the reason for the durability is to prevent the whales from accumulating all the good shit, right? Yeah. Like I want amulets to have no durability or double what it currently is, because if you're spending $1,000 on that thing, it better last long, especially an amulet. If you got a shield and some guy's slashing away at your shield, yeah, it's gonna get beat up. But your little beaded necklace on your neck, you know what, your clasp is gonna break. Like it should last a little longer. So not unlimited, but you should have a longer durability on those things. And there's always whales in every game. Every game. If someone wants to spend $2,000 on an Excalibur because it kicks ass and the durability is 5 of 5, you should let them. Like that's the whole point of the game. That's money injected into the game.
Correct. But that's what worries me about is those whales getting all that equipment and just owning the PvP matches.
Okay, can I ask you this then? How come it doesn't bother you that guys go in there and own all the mythic dreads because they put the money in? How come that's okay, but the weapons is not?
Because we can nerf a mythic dread.
Yeah, but he's spent the money for the mythic dread, so he should have the ability to use it in its entirety. So like, there's always tiers of people. So I'm just giving you some kickback, right? Like,
go for it. I love it.
If you have the money to buy that good equipment and you're a whale, good on you. Drop the money. Enjoy the game. But don't gate those guys from not wanting to put the money in. Why would you do that? You want those guys to put the thousands and thousands of dollars in. Every dollar counts, but the guy that drops $10 in the game, you're not gonna win. Sorry to tell you.
And okay, I agree with the whole whale should have an upper advantage. I don't want to get too much into it, but my headspace is people that get to that status work their asses off to get to that status, so they deserve the edge.
Yeah.
My concern is how much of an edge should we give them? Is there a line to where now it's broken because no matter what they do, they can't lose?
But okay, even the things that are broken in the game currently, like the Archer and stuff, we're in beta testing right now. They're correcting it as they go. So that can be changed on the fly, just like Gen Zero's summoning cooldown. We could change it and we could go back. They can try a few things, and if it works, it doesn't work. Like, that's totally acceptable. But don't gate people from wanting to put money in the game. Like, again, referencing the Scally's Eye, no one's going to buy them. Who the hell's going to buy them? Why would you spend $1,000 to use it at a PvP tournament that happens once a year?
Yeah.
There's no point.
I do see where you're coming from. It just concerns me that where is that point to where now it's become no fun for the masses versus the whale. So the whale's going to bring in $1 million, but the masses might bring in $1 each, but they're $2 million at $1 each.
Because there should be tiered levels of fighting. There should be rare duels or rare PvP, legendary PvP, PJ PvP, dark summoning PvP, all different rarities and different prize pools along the way. And you can have like a guild that is strictly the green uncommon team, and they want to have the best green uncommon goons, sages, warriors, knights, and they crush, and they own the uncommon level of PvP. Nobody can touch it. Mythic guys can't even touch it because they don't have any of those uncommon heroes. That's the way it should be in the end.
So you're talking about, the pro level football team versus the high school level football team versus, so on and so forth. I agree with that.
It's all tiered. It's like duels too, right? Like duels right now, I think it should be the same way.
I think they do.
Really that fun? Everybody's playing with mythic heroes. Like, come on.
So, and I agree with you, but let me give you an example here. Okay, so Zed Run is a game I played a lot of. That's where I made most of my money. So when they came out, middle of the bull market, millions and millions of players playing the game. They tiered it out like crazy, just like you're saying. So everybody had a place to go. Bear market came. Population dropped. Now they only have like 5 people willing to enter each one of those tiers.
But that's where they have to be able to maneuver on the fly, right? Maybe at that point they should have combined all that into one. I'm just, throwing it out there, right? I don't even know what the game is, but letting what is or was be the same and never changing and adapting is not the right answer.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And that's why I love the whole aping into broken mechanics. I love aping into broken mechanics. But, that's the balance that they have to play with. And it's hard when you got a team that is already stretched thin, having to keep on top of those balancing also.
Yeah, I mean, they've got families and lives outside of this game, and us bitching about it all day. But like at the same time, they hopefully will hear some of the comments made and go, maybe we'll entertain this or that or bring it back to whoever, and maybe it'll be positive. I keep thinking of how Stick's intern was like commenting about the Vizzies and like how he kind of like explained on one of his streams that why it's okay. And he wasn't doing that to like change their mind. He was just giving his opinion in a professional way, and they listened. He didn't call them out and say, "You guys better listen to me. I know better than you." He explained it. He gave an idea. They took it back and went, "You know what? We do listen to you guys."
Yeah, I think they listen to us a lot more than we think they do. But unfortunately, I don't think they have all day to sit there and listen to us.
No, Bolon's the only one that's got all day. Where the hell has he been for the last 3 days in Discord? Unacceptable.
I haven't seen him around
Don't
much
you
at
dare
all.
get a life.
So, glass half full. Is your glass half full, Brovia?
Always empty. It's half empty.
But yeah, I can't wait till we get to that point to where we can tier everything out, to where you have those ranges, to where that top level competition's there. Because I personally think that's where DFK is going, to where you're going to have that esports group of people. You're going to have your casual people and all that stuff. And that's what I'm waiting for.
It's still bloody early. Even though this project is 2 years old plus now, it's still early. So, but lots of people got lots of time to come in and still be like top tier contenders in this game.
So I got another question for you. This is kind of a two-tiered, two-parted question. Web3 versus Web2. 10 years from now, is Web2 even a thing anymore? And is DFK the model moving forward?
Ooh. I think Web3 will be the thing next, it's the next generation. You know what it is? It's basically like you think about the creation of the internet, how when the internet started out, everybody's like, "Oh, what is this stupid thing? It's not going to last." You got an AOL dial up. There's nothing on it. And then all of a sudden it starts to catch on. And then it's like crypto, right? Nobody knew what the hell Bitcoin was, how to do a wallet, and slowly, there's Visa cards with Bitcoin. There's this, there's that. It just takes a lot of people and adoption and time and clarity on what it is that is becoming popular, and it'll gain traction for sure.
Yeah. Do you think it'll completely eliminate Web2?
You know what? I hope so. Because we're all about interaction now on the internet. It's all it is, interactions of some sort, right? So yes, I hope it does.
I think I broke my comment section here.
I can still see people commenting away. Beeb just said that PJ Heroes are the best and Dark Summon Heroes are the worst. It's right there. You can see it right in the bottom there.
Yeah, no, I got it now. Some people are wanting page 10 to come out and all that. So, but do you think the DFK model is the future, or do you think these models that are all played off chain and then claim to chain is going to be the model?
It's easier for them to build out a Web 2 type game versus a Web 3 game. But, like the original model, what DFK was of, high APRs and, locked tokens, I think that was horrible and like not what we needed. We did not need whatever it was, $25 Joule That was the worst thing to happen to us as
Yeah.
a game, right? And now everybody expects that to happen again. That was a one-off, guys. Like this whole crypto valleys, that's like a damn near DFK clone, is the exact same thing. Lock tokens, the whole 9 yards, and everybody's FOMOing into this. Don't get me wrong, people are making a ton of money, but
Yeah. And if you can do
someone
it,
is losing money every time that person, someone else is making money. So
Yeah.
there will be a community in there, as DFK was, bag holding, and they're the guys that are like, this is going to be something. But DFK has proven that they actually were going to do something. They weren't just a rug pull, right? They were going to develop a game. Their NFTs are freaking sick, and like it's going to become something. It's going to become something big too.
Yeah. And kind of touch back a little bit on what you were saying. A lot of these games that are new right now that have these big returns and all that stuff, those returns only come because other people are putting money into the game. In the end, someone's going to get stuck with no money.
Yeah, like but crypto people they're crazy. If DFK put a Twitter post out right now and said we have 100,000% APR on bloaters, and you get more bloaters, 100,000% of them, some idiots from crypto are going to come in there and be like, okay, I've got all these bloaters that are locked up. What do I do with them? Like they haven't got a friggin' clue what it is. They just jumped in because they saw there's potential to make crazy money quick. But
we
you
just
don't
recently
you
had
don't
that with
want those
bloaters.
guys.
We just had that recently with bloaters. Remember when they were going up like crazy
Yeah.
for what? I still don't understand what the hell that was about. But dude, I
think
finally got to sell off a bunch of my bloaters.
I think there's a few community members that were just trying to make it a meme coin. It was the idea, I think, anyway.
Something like that. But that was funny. I was happy to finally be able to sell my shit off. So there was one other question I wanted to hit with you, and I can't remember what it was. So they talked about the game loop. Let me check my notes here real quick. Just in case anybody doesn't know who Brovia. Oh no, that was all of it.
We crushed it out of the park.
So if I understand this right, not a whole lot of kickback on the scholarship program. Not something you're going to do.
I mean, in a smart contract, I do it.
Yeah.
The amount of money that has been spent on these heroes, I unless you're in my guild, like I just sent Scoopy a bunch of mythic pets he wanted to use to level up, and I got no problem. Those are going to come back to me, right? But like someone else in the community I don't really know, and I'm just going to send them a couple of my heroes that cost me a few $1,000. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't disagree with everything you're saying. I'm just a little more used to risk, maybe. But
I had one. I'll tell you a quick story. I had one where I found a Gen Zero pair to my. I had a knight and a warrior, and this one fellow was selling out his warrior Gen Zero. It was in the tavern, and I didn't have any liquid to buy it because I already had a warrior, and so I just thought, you know what, I'll message him, and I messaged this guy and I said, hey, you're selling a warrior, I want it. I'll switch you. I'll give you my warrior Gen Zero. You give me that warrior Gen Zero. Kumbaya, everybody's happy again, right? We're good. And he actually said, yeah, you know what? I don't care. I'm selling a warrior Gen Zero. You're gonna give me a warrior. And I'm like, all right, we've got a balls up here. And I said, give me your ox. And I sent first. Here I am telling you I'd never do it, right? I wanted that goddamn pair. It was a magical pair to match up for my knight. And I sent it to him. I said, sent. And his response was, holy crap, you actually sent it. And I was like, yes. And he was an OG in the game. Like I'd known him in the past, but he just wasn't active anymore. And sure as shit, he sent the warrior, and we were great. And then obviously, because my warrior was different from his that one sold in the taverns. Well, somebody else found a good match for that. It worked out great. So I did do it, but I wouldn't do it now. That was insane. That was my adrenaline going, I need this damn thing. I need to get the best, one of the best sets in the game. Like, not again.
You didn't like that rush?
Yeah. A little too much for me.
Yeah. And I get it. It's a tough one, but I just think the upsides are going to outweigh the outsides. I fully expect to get screwed over by a few, but as long as I'm profitable.
Like Beeve, send me one of your mythic dreads. I'll hold on to it for a year or two, and when I'm done, I'll send it back. I promise.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just, and this is not what I'm talking about, but this is kind of the mentality I have. I'll send you a $200 hero. You send me $10 a day. At the end, who cares if you take that $200 heroes if I have $1,000 in my pocket?
But what if you get your first $10 and that's it?
Get my first 10 and then they're gone.
Yeah, $10 stings. You put that on the wall and be like, crap.
Yeah, and I see where you're going with that, but my experience with dealing with these people, I haven't had any of that problem.
No, the like core team or community members, they're all trustworthy. And like I joke, like I would send Beef something easily. I wouldn't even question it. Like he's a normal guy, and like his city's not that big. I could drive down to Seattle. I'll find him. It'll take a few months to wander in the streets of Seattle, and I'll find out where he lives.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've hit the hour mark. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we wrap this up? What's on your mind?
Okay, I'll give you a little public service announcement. With all these streams you guys have been graciously inviting me to, I decided to make a video again on my little Bullish Brovia crypto YouTube channel. Recorded it earlier today with Blake DeFK. I will be posting it hopefully tonight. Be warned, it is just raw and BSing, sipping coffee, and could be risque. I'm going to watch it ahead of time before posting it, just before, because I don't want anybody to think anything poorly of it. But it's what we do once a week. We go and have coffee together, and we BS DFK stuff, good and bad.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that. I always want more and more content in here. So
I will try to be as regular as you guys. It is amazing you can find the time to do that. Even yourself being on the road, a lot of the time. It's kudos to you to do that, right? And all the people in the chat is pretty pumped.
So I want to share a public announcement that I've been wanting to say at all these things. So I'm talking about through a lot of this stream, trust people, right? Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I've been in crypto for a long time. Right now, the markets, the ecosystem, everything is primed and ready for all the bad actors to come out and take your money. Be careful what you're clicking on, who you're trusting, and what wallets and projects and all that you're aping into. Go make your money, but be careful. So
fantastic advice.
Yeah, it just scares me every time so many people get screwed at this time of the market. So, all right, well, guys, we are going to leave it here. Please enjoy and don't forget to keep moving forward.